Hey everybody! Alright, so I am currently in a hotel room, and so the lighting is terrible, and that's probably going to how this is going to go. As I'm creating all this content for you guys, don't be surprised if it's all sorts of kind of, let's just say I'm going for content, not production quality. So hopefully that's alright. So anyway, let's talk about wholesaling. Wholesaling is going to be a fantastic way for a lot of you to get started. It's a very common way for people to get started with real estate investing, and because it's something that it doesn't even require you to learn to get the funding part of things. You don't need to have any money. You don't even need to find any money. It doesn't require you in many cases to raise funds or to even buy a property in many cases. So here's kind of the way wholesaling works. Wholesaling is basically getting paid to find the deals. So a really common sequence of events is there's a lot of people out there that they are professional wholesalers, and that essentially means that they're professional deal finders. And then a wholesaler will oftentimes have a big list of buyers. So they might have a big list of other investors that are fix and flippers. And then so a wholesaler finds the deal and then sells it to maybe a fix and flipper who's actually going to buy it and fix it, and then turn around and flip it on like the retail market, what people would call the retail market, where a retail buyer or a normal person is going to buy that property at a retail price. But there may have been multiple investors kind of in the chain there, wholesaler, fix and flipper, that sort of thing. Or maybe the wholesaler is actually just flipping it to an investor that's going to buy it and hold on to it long term as a rental. So here's one of the cool things about wholesaling. Like, let me give you an example of how a wholesale thing might work. We're going to talk about an option contract. And then I'm going to try to throw up an example of an option contract. I'm going to sift through my documents. All the properties that we've personally done have all been fix and flips. So like I've actually bought some properties from wholesalers, but I've never actually wholesaled a property myself. I've always bought them all and then done the fix up ourselves, and then we've turned and flipped them. So anyway, I haven't had to use the option contract myself yet, but I think I have some examples that I can throw up, and it's something that you can easily find on like LegalZoom.com. But anyway, let me walk you through an example of a possible wholesale deal. So let's say that I am driving through the neighborhood and I see this house I see your house that is maybe in a little disrepair. It's a nice neighborhood, but hey, it looks like this property isn't really being maintained, so maybe there's an opportunity here. So I go up and I knock on the door and I strike up a conversation with you and find out, kind of what the situation is. Or maybe I went home and wrote a little letter and sent it to you. Or maybe I did a yellow letter campaign and I sent out a bunch of mailers, and you were somebody who happened to call me that said that you were thinking about selling your house. However, you end up finding this potential seller. So anyway, I strike up a conversation with you and find out what the scoop is, and you are in a tough situation. You're wanting to sell your house, but you don't have the money to fix it up, and so you're looking for somebody to help you out. Well, I kind of do some of my research, and I think that the after repair value, the ARV of your house, is about $150,000. So if somebody were to come in and fix it up and then list it on the marketplace, probably could get about $150,000 for it. I think that there's maybe about $10,000 in repairs that need to be done. So maybe I say to you, tell you what, if I could buy your house cash and quickly for $100,000, would that help you get out of your situation? Is that something you'd be open to? And so I'm thinking, hey, if I could buy this for $100,000, put $10,000 into it and make it worth $150,000, there's definitely some profit to be made in there. Maybe after realtor fees and closing costs and then the cost of borrowing money and all that stuff, maybe I think there's $25,000 pretty conservatively to be made in there. So anyway, I say, how about if I buy your house for $100,000? Would you be open to that? And you say, yeah, that sounds great. That'd be awesome. And I say, okay, well, tell you what. I need to do a little bit more due diligence. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to buy what's called an option from you. So an option is just a contract. It's just a document that we sign. And maybe I am going to pay you $500 for the option to buy your house in the next 30 days or 60 days or whatever we decide. So I give you $500, and in turn you're giving me the option to buy your house, the legal right to buy your house for $100,000. And this is a contract that we both sign, and the time frame is dictated in there, all the terms are dictated in there. So what that means is you're legally obligated to sell the property to me. I have the next 30 days, let's just say 30, I have the next 30 days to decide if I want to buy it. You're legally obligated to sell it to me in that 30 days. If I buy it, I'm legally obligated to buy it at that price that we determined, or whatever terms are in the option contract. And you can't go and sell it to somebody else in that time period. I own the right to buy your house for the next 30 days. You can't go and take it to anybody else. Now, we've got, and that $500 that I give to you, by the way, that's non-refundable. So that's your sort of your benefit to giving me that option, is that if I decide not to buy your house for any reason, you're $500 richer, and it didn't really, there was no risk to you, it didn't cost you anything except for some time to wait to see if I wanted to do it. Now, I've got an option to buy your property at a price where I know there's money to be made on it. Now what I can do is I can go find, if I don't have the money to buy it, I don't have an investor yet to back me, I'm not sure if I'm ready to take on a full fix and flip because I don't know anything about the construction side of it. I'm not sure, about managing all the contractors, and maybe I'm just not ready to bite off all that stuff. Well, I can just go find another real estate investor, and I can actually sell them the option. I can sell them my option that I now own from you. So it's pretty easy to find another real estate investor. You could go to the courthouse auctions that are happening in your town, the foreclosure auctions. There's real estate investors there that buy properties cash all the time. You could go to a local real estate investor association meeting in your area. You could do kind of what I talk about in the yellow letter section, sending out mailers to cash buyers and actually finding an investor that way. You could talk to realtors that you know and see what investor clients they have. It's actually pretty easy to find other real estate investors. And you take this option to another real estate investor that has a little bit of experience and knows a little bit of what they're doing. They jump on, they do their own research, they say, you know what, I agree with you. I think that this house would probably sell for $150,000. I think that it might take $10,000 in repairs. And you say, well, tell you what, let me sell you my option for $5,000. And so, if there's $25,000 of profit to be made in it, I'm selling them my option for $5,000. They're going to buy the property, fix it up, turn around and flip it, and they're going to make their $20,000. But I've still got $5,000 just for finding that deal and securing it, getting control of it. So that's an example of wholesaling. And like I said, it doesn't take any money. It doesn't take any knowledge of construction or any of those pieces. It's a fantastic way to get started and just get paid to become a good deal finder. So anyway, there will be more stuff coming out on wholesaling, but that's a good thing to keep in mind. So the point being is that if you just start getting out there and looking for good deals, there's money to be made, even if you're a little bit unsure about how you're going to raise funds from investors and do the construction and do all that kind of stuff. Just start getting out there and start looking for good deals. Okay, thanks.